There are two schools of thought when you're functioning in the economic system that we are in the United States that can lead you down a path of success. There's Dave Ramsey, there's Robert Kiyosaki. Dave Ramsey says avoid credit and debt pretty much at all costs necessary. Don't touch it, drop it, cut it up, put it away. Robert Kiyosaki shows you all 32 of his teeth when you ask him in an interview, and he gets to tell you he's $1 billion in debt and he's absolutely filthy rich because of it. This is the epicenter of what it looks like to function in the United States economic system. And I want to talk about that because I want each of you to have a more defined path on your finances. Normally, these videos are stuck on spotlight sections for my pioneers, but this is going to be actually a spinoff from a conversation of one of my most prominent pioneers, Mr. Michael Green. And I want to not keep picking on him in these videos, but he said something in a response that we had in a conversation that stuck with me. And I wanted to give some deeper context to it because it's something all of us could benefit from in our personal and business finance journeys. When we were talking about the overall goals for establishing these banking relationships and getting access to capital, he made it abundantly clear that his primary focus is his personal finances. He's at a stage in his life where he's essentially kind of winding down, working towards retirement, etc. He's not looking to start a business, launch a business, become some high-level esteemed investor. He just wants strong financials, good personal finances, healthy position to be in. Maybe he has some family to pass some things down to. That's great, and it's important to understand what you're in it for. So it brought me to the broader concept of functioning in this economy and what it looks like for us to define personal and business financial goals and the landscape when it comes to developing banking relationships and getting access to capital or not participating with debt at all. That brought me down to basically Dave Ramsey and Robert Kiyosaki. What that basically boils down to is, does your financial plan align on either side of the spectrum, or do you have a hybridized blend of these two schools of thought? And making sure that you understand your end game. What are you actually in this for? Because believe it or not, when you start talking about credit and debt, and you start thinking about Dave Ramsey's concept, the gentleman has a point. You can go all the way through this financial system and not touch credit or debt if you chose to. Maybe more debt. Credit is a little iffy because it's used in so many other contexts. When we talk about insurance, getting various forms of insurance, even employment, credit is relevant. But you can't avoid debt altogether and develop a tremendous FICO score doing so. I'm going to explain that in a second. But what I want to talk about is with Dave Ramsey, he's basically saying to leverage off of your income, cash flow management, and avoid debt. And the surplus side of that is you can avoid hundreds of thousands, if not potentially over $1 million in interest costs and fees by doing it the way he's telling you to do it. It's true. When you think about saving for vehicles, when you talk about saving for homes, etc. If you talk about avoiding credit card debt, that is hundreds of thousands, if not potentially over $1 million in interest costs that you're going to save by going the cash route. What is the sacrifice with that philosophy? Time and scale. Simple. Your ability to navigate owning a home in your 20s and 30s or maybe even early 40s versus having to save until you're 50 or 60 years old to buy your first house cash for most of us. Now, some of us are in a position where we have exceptionally high incomes and can save at an exceptionally high rate and make that happen a hell of a lot sooner. The vast majority of us, if we want to own a home in an environment where home costs and affordability is at an all-time low, the average medium home cost is over $400,000 in the United States. Depending on where you are, you can even be in a more conservative, less expensive parts of the country and still have to pay $200, $250, $300 plus to get a decent home in a decent neighborhood. That basically means for many of us who are only able to save, we have median incomes or slightly above median incomes, and only able to save, if we're fortunate, 10 or 20, maybe 30% of our income. You'll be saving for potentially decades to try to buy your first home. And that's not including the fact that homes are going to continue to get more expensive with time, most likely. Same thing with buying a car. Not quite as extreme, but again, post-COVID world, a decent car is $15,000, $20,000, $25,000, $30,000. And I know some of you are looking at me crazy with the $15,000 part. It's true. Buying a car cash, which is what I've done in the last 2 years, The car that you see me recording from ever so consistently in these videos, because this is the time that I have to put these videos out for you guys, is a Nissan Versa. I bought it in 2022 as soon as car prices skyrocketed through the roof. But I was determined to keep my DTI polished, so I paid cash for it. It was about $15,000 to $17,000 after tax, title, and license. So that was my Dave Ramsey and me at the time, in order to exercise my Robert Kiyosaki later on. So what I want to get to the point of saying is, there's a pro to that methodology, but the con is time and scale. In my personal opinion, you have to take a deep dive, a deep look in avoiding debt throughout your entire financial journey before you pick that path out, because you can end up in a situation where you miss out on the positive side of getting access to an operating vehicle, owning a home, other assets earlier in your financial journey, because all of these things, as we can see, are inflating in cost, and they're inflating in value in some cases if we're talking about real estate and other assets, businesses. Now there's Robert Kiyosaki, who again is going to show you all of his teeth. When you ask him, he's going to tell you, I'm over $1 billion in debt and I'm filthy rich because of it. Now the benefit is the other side of the coin, time and scale. He's able to get access to assets way earlier in his life and let them appreciate. And he's able to do it at scale. The man owns tens of thousands of various forms of real estate and property. I'm sure he owns a ton of businesses as well. These things appreciate over time. If you have the ability to manage these things, then as you can see, it can make you exceptionally rich. We are in a credit-based, debt-based, consumer-driven economy in the United States. The reality of it is debt and credit are tools. Dave Ramsey's telling you avoid those tools at all costs, because if mismanaged or misused, they hurt you badly. He's absolutely correct. But just like telling you not to use a spoon and a fork when you eat, because you can poke yourself in the mouth and really hurt yourself. At the end of the day, I can go without using a spoon and a fork in my food, but how much longer and how much messier is it going to be for me to eat? That's the reality of the situation. Robert Kiyosaki is saying, to hell with that. I'm going to learn how to navigate the tax system, the debt system, the banking system to acquire assets, acquire businesses, and let those assets and businesses inflate in value, inflate in cash flow, and make me filthy rich. So I no longer have to trade my time for financial gain. Dave Ramsey's got you doing just the opposite. You're going to be trading your time, probably the rest of your life, to get access to your basic transportation and shelter needs in most cases, assuming that you don't rent or lease these things out. And so on the flip side of that, you're avoiding most, if not all, of the risk of using debt in the system. It's very important to understand this. My personal journey, to give you some context, and I'm going to be putting out a video that's going to go into my personal financial journey and business journey on the financial side, banking side, debt side very soon, that you're going to find very interesting. But for those who are new to this content, that are sticking through this video so far, that are not in my Pioneer Committee already, my personal financial journey has been one that has been very blended between the two. I had a very significant financial collapse in my life around 2014 to 2016 and have been rebuilding since about 2017 to 2018. Since, fast forwarding to not steal away from the video that'll be coming out, my recent financial journey has been to be more of a Dave Ramsey on the personal consumer side and be a Robert Kiyosaki on the business finance, business lending, banking relationship expansion side. What that basically means is I've been avoiding debt for the most part, with a couple minor exceptions on the consumer side, vigorously, in order to make sure that any debt that I do take on is only to gain assets. I have avoided car notes and car payments, with the exception of my motorcycle loan, which I financed on the front end and then put a chunk of cash down on the back end. I have about that much in student loans debt left. And that is literally, we're talking a couple $1,000s left. Very fortunate my father was in the military, so I was able to get the majority of my student loan debt covered by his military benefits the majority of the time that I was in, before I stopped going to school and just pursued my career. And I have a small loan from Navy Federal that I took out intentionally for experimental purposes that I also threw cash down on not long after financing. I have literally less than $10,000 in consumer debt intentionally, no auto loan debt. And that allowed me to get my mortgage most recently in late 2023. That is a very nice home, almost brand new, completely renovated home in a very nice subdivision. And I was able to finance that at a time when interest rates skyrocketed. So imagine if I didn't have more of a Dave Ramsey mindset on the consumer side, have financed the vehicle and other debts and not used my credit cards properly, I would not have been able to afford probably the home I'm in, most likely, because even though I make really good income, great FICO scores, the expansion in interest rates cut into my affordability drastically by over $100,000 with serious money. So I was still able to afford the home I was able to afford because I didn't have any other debt. My DTI, which is critical when getting a mortgage, was pretty pristine. But the bigger picture is not only my primary mortgage, it's the business side, and it's paid off tremendous dividends. Your personal finances, your personal credit scores are a huge predicator on getting approved for business financing. And I've been able to get over $100,000 in business financing in the last year, mostly in the last 6 months, like that, because my personal finances are pristine. I have a great income, a very, very low pristine DTI, and great FICO scores and established credit profile. That is what you need to kick the door down, especially with business credit cards, to get access to tens and potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars. This is the Robert Kiyosaki in me because I'm growing 2 small businesses, one of which you're watching right now. And I am scaling out my access to capital and spending power through personal finances by being Dave Ramsey on the personal side and letting that get me access to massive amounts of spending power and debt on the Robert Kiyosaki side, on the business financing side. I'm going to probably be able to successfully get through $200,000 to $250,000 in spending power / debt access, capital access for my businesses before 2024 is out. And I'm documenting that journey with you right now. I'm at the midpoint of the year at the time of this recording, going into June 2024, and I have over $100,000 in capital as we speak, acquired again, largely in the last 6 months, because my personal finances and my Dave Ramsey type mindset on the consumer side has afforded me that ability. I say all of that to say it is very important to understand what you're looking to accomplish, how you're going to go about accomplishing, and understanding the macro level of the economic system we function in. If you're focused on speed, time, and scale, or are you focused on avoiding interest costs and the pitfalls of functioning within debt at all costs? Are you going to blend them together to complement each other to scale out your personal finances? My guy that I referenced, Micah Green, he sounds like he's in the stage where I'm just polishing my personal finances. I don't have a reason to scale out and get into a bunch of debt or take on a bunch of capital and try to grow businesses and invest in a bunch of stuff. I just need to polish out my credit score. I need to make sure that whatever assets I have are stabilized, our retirement is stabilized, etc. Whatever assets I have are going to be able to be passed down the line when I transition on, etc. Micah Green, you catch this video, comment and let me know if I'm on to something when I say that. But to all of my partners who are constantly staying focused on my content and leveling out their personal and business finances, comment down below what camp you're falling in, Dave Ramsey, Robert Kiyosaki. Comment down below if you're blended between the two. Let me know if you're focused on polishing your personal finances. You're not looking to take on a risk and the potential pitfalls of the Robert Kiyosaki method. Or if you are one of those people who's pro Robert Kiyosaki, you love the concept of leveraging debt to get into assets, to grow and scale businesses, to acquire businesses, and you think Dave Ramsey is out of touch, let me know what your personal financial journey looks like. Each one of you down in the comments down below, any of you can answer this, because this is simply asking what your personal and legacy financial goals are. So everybody has an opportunity to answer this question. If you are new to this channel and you stuck all the way through on this, let me know who you are and let me know what your let all of us know what your financial journey looks like and your goals and your mindset around this looks like. Comment down below. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for coming in if you're new. To all my pioneers, welcome back. To my new viewers, again, welcome in. If you want to learn more about myself and the channel, you can do so in the description section and more so in the about section of the channel. subscribe, like, support this channel so this channel can keep supporting you. I want each of you to stay focused, stay in motion. I'll see y'all soon.